workshop. This is the Online Success Program. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Daryl.
And we have?
And I'm Kerry.
And we are coming to you from Bangkok today, and Kerry's on the Gold Coast. Today, what we're going to be sharing with you is how we have been running our online workshops and how we've been quite successful with it in the last little while. We've got all the hints and tips and step-by-step processes that we're going to take you through to let you be successful in this program. Before I go too much further, I want to ask you a question, and you need to answer in that chat box as we're going through. Let me ask you this question. Do you love the idea of running a six-figure online event? Six-figure online event. Who likes that? Give us a hell yeah, or a totally, or a great, or a big thumbs up, whatever you can do.
Yes, there we go.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how to do that. And not only are we going to show you how to do that, we're going to show you how we have done that a number of times now. And we repeated that and repeated that. So we feel like we've got this system down pat, and we want to share that with you today. And between Kerry, Daryl, and myself, we're going to give you all the good news. Now, this is a workshop today, and you do need to take some notes. So make sure that you are listening carefully. We will give you everything you need to know to be successful with this process. So listen carefully, follow it carefully, and so on. Now, we have run this workshop once before. Now, if you were on that workshop, notice that we will be actually changing, because we have learned some new things even since the last workshop, that we're going to include the latest stuff in here. And so the workshop won't be exactly the same. We will be changing it around a bit. So don't feel like you can just sort of switch off and not and because you heard it before. Listen carefully, because we do have changed some things. Some things have been updated, so very important. Okay, so would your life be different if you made an extra six figures in the next 90 days? What would be different in your life? Would that change your life? Would that impact it? How would it impact it? Let me know. That's a serious question. I know it's going to have an impact of some sort, but how would it impact it? What would it mean to you if you could make an extra six figures in the next 90 days? What would that actually mean to you? Would it mean you know, not having to worry about particular bills, or you know,
oh, we've got a Tesla.
Change life. I mean, a Tesla. Security, fantastic. More freedom, yeah, that's fantastic. That's always my motivator. New life outlook, fantastic. So good stuff. So really can help your family. Tax management. It means you pay more tax. Is that what that means, or you'll be able to manage the tax that you currently have?
Reduce stress,
reduce stress.
Relaxed.
Fantastic. Good
Excellent.
stuff. Okay, so that six figures has the ability to really impact your life and change it. So that's what we want to do. We want to show you how to do that in the next couple of hours. Now it's probably going to be 5 hours. We're going to be together, 5-6 hours, I think it is. So you need to focus for 6 hours to get your six figures. So let's get into it. So Daryl, what are we going to learn today? What are we going to actually be covering?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through our step-by-step system to do exactly that. So you might be looking at that and thinking, wow, you know, that's huge. If I could make six figures in the next 90 days, that would be amazing. But what we've learned over the last 3 months, pretty much because we had to with the lockdowns and everything that's been going on, we figured out a way to actually do that. And so those of you who know us well and know what it is that we do, as soon as we come up with a system that works, that we test, measure, refine a few times, then what we do is turn it into a training program and teach other people how to do it. So as usual, what we're going to be giving you today is very much step-by-step training. We're not just going to, you know, give you a little bit of a tease and then make you buy something. In fact, you can't buy anything on today's workshop, so you can actually relax, guys. That's the good news for you. What? We are going to be giving you some really cool training.
Kerry, did you know about this? Why are we here? we can't sell anything today.
Here's what we're actually going to cover. First of all, we're going to walk you through. We're going to start off with the big picture. So we're going to show you our system to make six figures from a one-day online event in as little as 2 weeks. And that stunned us actually when we figured out that we could actually do this in as little as 2 weeks. It really is a very powerful and very quick system. We have Kerry, who we think is Australia, if not the world's best Facebook marketer, is going to show you how to market your online event in a way that attracts loads of your ideal clients for very, very little ad spend. So, you know, you'll know that we generally run live face-to-face events. compared to that, online events really have a tiny budget to actually get them up and running. So that's super exciting. We'll then show you how to structure your event. So we're all about providing high quality training that's engaging enough to keep people's attention for a whole day. So, you know, we're, like I said before, we're not into just teasing people with a little bit of information. We're not just into, oh, let's tell stories all day. We believe in structured training, which is easy for people to take and use, practical stuff. And so if you're learning our system, then we want you to learn to do the same thing so that you're actually providing people with awesome value. You know, they want to be there for the day because they are learning something which is going to change their life. And then what we're going to do is to show you how to design a no-brainer offer that's high value to your clients, but easy and leveraged for you to deliver. So if you're actually going to monetize your one-day online event, what you don't want to do is, oh, great, you know, I've made 6 figures and I've got the freedom, I've bought my Tesla, I've, you know, got all the, you know, wonderful lifestyle now, but, oh, I don't have time to actually enjoy any of that. No, that's not what we want. So we'll show you how you can actually do all this and still have the lifestyle that you want and the freedom.
So before we do that, let me tell you about who we are and why you maybe should listen to us. Now, there's a number of old friends on the call today, and I can see lots of people on there who do know us, but I can also see a bunch of people who don't know us from a bar of soap. So forgive me if I'm repeating for some of you guys, but we'll just quickly touch what our experience has been in the past. Okay, so for Daryl and myself, we're a married couple. We've been married for 3 decades now.
Oh, in decades.
Fantastic. We're going to decades now. It's good. But we've also worked together and actually worked together longer than we've been married. So which is kind of cool. And so we've run businesses for a long time, but for many years we were management consultants, and we worked with businesses, companies, organizations all around Australia, and helping them to improve their business processes and get more profitable and be more successful in what it is that they want to do. However, the trouble with that, and maybe you can tell me, when you're a management consultant and you're out there and you're getting busy, what do you sell when you're a management consultant? I know you sell your expertise, but how do you package that up? What's the normal thing that you're having to sell? Let us know. Yes, your time. That's exactly right. Lots of people are saying your time, and that's what we were doing. We're selling our time, and that basically meant it was good money, but what was the problem with selling your time? Can anybody tell me what's the problem with selling your time? Let us know in that chat box. What's the problem with selling your time? There's not enough of it. Okay, it's limited. It runs out. Everybody only has 24 hours, and there's a finite amount. So we found that the more successful we became, the less of a life we had, and so on. So that was all okay when we were working together, which we were. But then we found out that we were having a child, and we wanted to actually spend some time with our child, and we realized that we were trapped in our business, and so we decided to start a life where we wanted to create more leveraged income that didn't involve swapping hours for dollars. And so what we did was we started to explore all around all the different ways, and we were one of those couple that went to every training program, went to all the property programs, all the share trading programs, or you name it, we were at it. Let me know if you're a junkie course junkie. If that's you, you've been to all the programs and so on. Well, that was us, and it wasn't until we discovered the internet and when in the early days, and we worked out that we could actually we could do some stuff on the internet. Now, we knew nothing about could barely do emails at the time, and we were able to make that work for us. And since then, we've been quite successful in that. And so in 2006, we started selling information products online, and we're able to set that up so it was automatic, and it really started to bring in information, bring in income in a automated fashion, and became sort of passive income for us. So we're pretty excited about that. After a little while, people started asking us, well, how the hell do you do that? So we started to teach it. And over time, in the last number of years, what we've been doing is we've been specializing in selling high ticket programs in specialist areas, and teaching people how, and doing it ourselves, how to sell programs around about $10,000 to $50,000. Okay, and that's kind of what we've been doing. So that's been sort of exciting, and that was really, really going well, and everybody was happy campers until in the last 13 years of being able to do that, we sold about $50 million using that process of being able to sell high ticket programs and so on in that area. So that's kind of been good, giving us great lifestyle, giving us freedom and being able to help us. However, in the last little while, we've had COVID turn up. Now, by being able to do this, we've had a highly leveraged sort of lifestyle and a business that's been able to do well. But in the last little while, we had COVID turn up, and we've had to change our processes, because a lot of the ways we were selling was face to face in a group setting, and this in a live setting doing workshops. However, we've been able to turn it into a online settings, which we're going to show you in a few minutes. So, Kerry, do you want to talk about you and what you've been up to?
Hang on, you're muted.
You're muted, Kerry.
You're muted.
What? You can't lip read.
Well, I can, but.
Do all the.
So I know some of you guys again on here do know me, so but for the ones that don't, I am best known for, well, I guess I work with businesses all over the world. I help them with the latest, and I specialize in Facebook marketing strategies. Now, Facebook is not just Facebook anymore. Facebook actually owns Instagram. It also includes WhatsApp, and it also includes Messenger. So I guess what I've done over the years, and right from the get-go, I started focusing on using Facebook and its suite of apps now, but to help make money. It's a social network, I know, and with social networks, people make friends, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to take over Facebook, discover how to use it to make money, and then teach other business owners how to do the same. So I've done that for over 10 years now. And in fact, as part of that, I have an agency, and I'm a Facebook preferred partner, which is really, really rare. It's hard to become, I guess, a preferred partner with Facebook, because you have to jump through a few hoops. And the hoops that you have to jump through include spend and results. Right, so you can only become a preferred partner with Facebook if you get results for your clients. So I've been able to do that obviously over the last 10 years. But prior to that, in my old days, I used to be a journalist in print, radio and TV. I did that for over 10 years, and then I moved to Australia. And when I moved to Australia, I know I sound Australian now to some of you. But I sound very Kiwi, obviously, and so I wasn't able to do broadcast journalism anymore. So I started doing all sorts of jobs, and then I discovered Andrew and Daryl. And as part of that, they did online stuff, and I wanted to really shortcut the process with the online stuff. So I started diving into Facebook to learn how to use it, like I said, to make money. Did it in the early years, way before anyone else was doing it, and sort of have been ahead of the game as well. And what I did is I used a lot of my journalism skills to be able to dive deep, find the people that were successful, and model what they do, which is actually one of the reasons why I'm here today with Andrew and Daryl. Like they said, what they do is basically, find systems, find things that work and roll out and teach people. Well, I jump on their systems really, really quickly and roll them out and then have the marketing arm to it. So I studied, I implemented, I coached others in social media marketing, discovered that the top social channel to get results is Facebook and its suite of apps, so have specialized in that for the last, like I said, 10 years. And as part of that, one of the things that I'm really, really passionate about is helping business owners and helping people build long-term, reliable, sustainable income streams using Facebook and its suite of apps, and not just your one-off products. If you can sell something on Facebook to a specific audience, why not give them a lot of other things as well? So that's what we specialize in.
Cool.
Fantastic. So Tony's saying fantastic, go Kiwis. I assume Tony's a Kiwi there, and he's saying it's good to see that there's a token Australian. That would be me. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so why online events, guys? Why are we talking about that today? Well, as I said before, we were going along doing our events, and we were doing live events to sell programs and so on. That was working quite well for us, as we were showing you before. And then a little thing called COVID-19 turned up, and everything stopped, like stopped. And so that caused a bit of a an issue. We did have other things set up, but you know, it was a challenge for us to work out what do we do there and how do we readjust. And so what we thought we'd do is we'll bring on our workshops, which were 3-day live events, three-day live events. We'd bring those workshops and we'd put that into a 1-day online event and so on. So that took a little bit of a challenge to work out how to do that. And so after putting some thought into it, we were able to do that, and we had some really great success. And that's what we're going to take you through today, what we've actually done there. Okay, the other reason why you want to do live events is attendees generally find it more convenient to do it from home. This is something that we're a little bit unsure about. We thought that people would be just not willing to sit for a day and listen to what we have to say and so on. And we're pleasantly surprised that they actually have been. And in fact, the feedback's been that it's been a lot more convenient and better to go with doing that live event from home. Doing that. Let me know in the chat box right now. Actually, have you found it? I know we're early into it, but is it better just to be able to come and turn on your computer and sit at home and with your coffee and relax and so in your own environment, as opposed to, you know, getting dressed up, battling the traffic, finding parking, getting into a seminar room, etc., etc. Who prefers that? Yep, love it. Yep, more convenient. Something 50-50. Okay, no problems.
Oh, and we've got I can stay in my PJs from Tom.
Excellent. Fantastic. Okay. And cameras only go one way, so that's really good. Okay.
Yes, but there are those who love the Gold Coast events in winter.
Yeah. So look at what this is done. It's not saying that live events are dead, but we're just saying that for now, this is a great experience. It's also, it gives you an extra string to your bow. So once COVID comes back up, we'll still be doing these. We're not just going to stop doing it. We'll still do these, and we'll do our live events as well. So it's not just either or. Okay. The other reason that you want to do online events is that it's a low cost registration compared to face-to-face events. When you do face-to-face events or live events, in the sense of in person, they are quite expensive to put on. You've got to think about firstly travel to the location. You've got to get hotel rooms booked and so on. AV gear, generally somebody to organise all that for you. Some back of room staff. Catering, there's a whole bunch of other things that go on, and that can turn into tens of thousands of dollars sometimes to run your events. Now, the events are very profitable, so it's worth doing. But in this way, it turns out to be quite a low cost and cost-effective way to do it compared to face-to-face events. Generally find we have a higher attendance online as well, which has kind of been very exciting for us. Once again, there's a bit of an unknown when we first started, but the online events have a higher attendance rate compared to those face-to-face events and so on. So would it be fair to say, ladies, about double the turn up? Is that right?
Yeah, almost double. We've got some numbers to show you in a minute because we love our stats.
So that's pretty cool. Marketing lead time is much shorter than the face-to-face events as well. Normally do a face-to-face event, we'd take about 8 weeks to market it, to fill it and have it happening. In the online events like we're doing today, we're doing about 2 weeks, and if you're won't mention who, but if you're somebody on the call who's been known to do it in 1 week as well. Okay.
That's because she's really good at Facebook marketing.
Okay. The other way, the other reason that online events are really cool is that you're able to sell mid-price programs off the 1-day event as well, and that can be anything from a $3,000 product to up to about $10,000. That's kind of where we've been working in that area. So that's filled a gap for us before as well, and we'll talk to you about that a bit later as well. Okay, and they're easy and low cost to deliver. Pretty simple to do these. Once you sort of crack how to turn on the computer and run the platform, then you're pretty much right to go. You can just talk and everybody's cool and simple, and yeah, so you can roll out of bed, put your lippy on, and you're good to go.
There you go. And Stephen's saying easy and cheap to do a repeat event multiple times.
Yes, exactly right, 100%. Okay, so let's talk about systems to monetize.
Let's talk about our system. So what I want to do is just walk you through the actual process and how this turns into money, because as I said to you before, we are not selling anything at this event, and yet we will make money from this event. So let me show you exactly how that works, because this is what you can be doing really, really quickly. So first of all, what we do is we provide free tickets to the one-day online event. So exactly the way you will have gone to onlineworkshopsuccess.com, and you'll see there you get free tickets to the one-day online event. We also offer VIP tickets. So for those of you who've bought your VIP tickets, you've already received the slides. So long as you attend the day, you also end up with the recordings of the program. Now, with our model, it's really important that you give lots and lots of valuable content at the event. It is not a sales fest. Guys, people will just switch off. They won't hang around if all you're doing is just a hard sell for the entire day. You will end up with no one at your event. In terms of what you offer, what you want to do is to design a program which has overwhelming value, which then helps attendees to implement what they've learned. So give them a heap of information so that if they did want to go and do it themselves, they could. But those of them who are really keen to do it know that they're going to get a lot further, a lot quicker with your system if they do it with your help. And so what you want is a program which actually helps people to implement, make it super easy for people to implement. But they can't buy at the event. The offer is by application only. And the reason we do this is that our programs are generally 12 months. And if we're going to be working with you for 12 months, we want to know that we're right for you and you're right for us, and that there is actually a way that we can help you to more than recoup the cost of the program. So no actual selling at the event. All you're doing is a very low-key offer. If you want to discuss or find out more, then book yourself in for a one-on-one call. And so that's the call to action. Book a 1-hour call to discuss the details, and then after the event you actually go through and talk together about whether or not it's something that you want to work on together. So you'll see that it's quite different from what a lot of people do, where it's, oh, we've only got 7 of these, book yourself in now or you're going to miss out. We don't believe in high pressure selling. We believe that if we're going to work with someone, it needs to be the right decision for both parties. So let us know how what you think about that. Does that make you feel more comfortable? Does that make you feel, I guess, more like something that you would like to do? Does that make you feel like, yeah, I could run an online event that does that? I would feel good about doing that. Let me know how what you think about that.
So Teresa's saying love it. Alison's saying good method, and everybody else is still typing, I think.
Come on, guys. Like Andrew said, not a
spectator sport. This is a participation sport today.
There we go. Laurie's saying so much better than hard sell. It's a system that appeals to me. Awesome. Sounds very much more relaxed approach than just selling. Well done.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Excellent. Alrighty. So that is our system. What we want to do now is show you some examples. Now, normally when we are going through examples of things that we've done, we're drawing on years and years of experience. Here we are drawing on 3 months of experience, guys. And so what we want to show you is just some numbers around it. I guess one of the things that we really appreciate whenever we attend training is, well, don't just tell me stories. Actually show me the numbers and how it works, so I can see how that would apply to my business.
Who are the numbers people in the audience today? Do you like just hearing the numbers? How's it work and getting behind the numbers, or do you prefer the hype and excitement behind it? Let us know if you're the numbers person. Okay.
And I know there'll be some who are both.
Yes. Yeah. Cool.
There we go. Love numbers, hate hype.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt. Numbers, yeah, numbers.
Excellent. Okay, cool.
Good stuff.
We're in the right group.
We are. Okay, so the first one that we're going to show you is actually one that started early on in the piece, and this is actually not ours. This is a colleague of ours who was sharing the results of his program. And he's been running one-day online events, having moved over from regular face-to-face events in property training. So here are the sorts of results that he was getting from just one event. And you can see, 1,550 registrations. Now, a lot of this came through Facebook, which is super exciting, given that you're going to have Kerry talking to you about how that works. Out of that, 37% attendance rate, so 570 attendees. With a live face-to-face event, normally we'd be expecting between 30 and 35% attendance, so a little higher there. $36,000 ad spend, so $23.23 per registrant. Normally with the live face-to-face events, we're spending between $20 and maybe $80 per registrant. Now we're happy to do that because we know what it turns into, but you know, this is right down the bottom end of that. 72 sales at an average of $5,700, so a 12.7% conversion. So conversion rate a little lower than what we would normally have at a face-to-face event. Normally we'd be doing 20, 30%, but $412,000 in sales from one event. So 36,000 spend for 412,000 coming back. The number that we like to use at any of our events is income per registrant. So how much money divided by the number of registrants, whether or not they turned up, and that basically takes account of all the variables in the middle. So $266 income per registrant for this particular one. So absolutely fantastic results. But here's the exciting thing. Didn't just run one event. Over 3 weeks, ran 3 events, $1.1 million in sales. So super exciting with that. And it was a real, I guess, inspiration for us. So we started just straight after we saw these results. And oh, we've got Kerry's example first. So Kerry's been doing some amazing things. Do you want to talk about this?
Yep, sure. So I ran over 5 events. So took this by the horns in May, actually, started in May and ran my first event then. And since then I've run 5. So what I did actually is I did it live the first time, and then the week later I did a replay of that particular one. So it was kind of an encore, but it wasn't a live encore. In fact, I had one of my staff members actually answering questions while I was going running and hanging out with the kids for the day. So super cool to be able to do that, and you know, and obviously provide value to the people that were listening as well, but have someone else look after that. So and I did 3 in Australia, did my replay, and then I've also done 1 in the US. So I had, overall, we have 2,064 registrants. So that means that either way, I'm building a list, okay? So no matter what, I've got now 2,064 new people on my database. I had 1,236 over the 5 events attendees. So that is a 60% obviously turn up rate. Now that's way higher than the average, okay, like Daryl was saying. Typically, even for a webinar, usually we would expect, and in fact, you know, we used to be 50% many years ago. It's dropped down significantly and we were getting like 30%, which was still good. In fact, I know I've heard of other people in the industry who are lucky to get 15 to 20% turn up on an average event, whereas these ones here, because of the stuff we're going to teach you today, we're able to get 60% and higher, but that was on average 60%. Ad spend over those events, 4,566, so it was only $2.21 per registrant on average. We actually dropped down with one of them to $1.26 on one particular audience and ad set. So super exciting there. So I offered a 12-month program, Facebook Marketing Mastery program, and it was for $9,900, or if people paid it off, it was $997 a month. And I have a 11% close rate. So I took $1,079,026 worth of applications over the last couple of months since starting this.
Who thinks that is seriously cool? And I think that requires a very good clap. There we go.
Well done, man. That's fantastic. Okay, that's really
So that, you know what? And you know what? What's super exciting? Oh yeah. So actually, the one more. So I took 63 sales in the end. So that was the applications. Obviously, not everyone who applies gets in. Obviously, I only like to work with certain people that I know I can help and so on. So 63 sales for a total of $723,177. So that ends up being, if we're doing income per registration, $350 per income per registration. And you know what, like the cool thing about this, and just it's interesting because it's something that before this, it was saw Andrew and Daryl do it, went, I can do that, did it in a week. a little bit different
They
than
can do
most.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it. I can do it. And you don't just do it once, you roll it out, because it's great. That's super freedom, right? But also helping others as well during this time. So, but what I was just about to say, the really interesting thing about it is that there is no way I would have ever thought that I'd be making over, higher six figures in a few months like this. It actually was what I would have classed outside my comfort zone. Now it's like, just going to do it every month. Like entrances every week.
There you go.
What I'd like to draw your attention to, guys, as well, just don't forget that's in the middle of a pandemic, one of the worst economic situations the world's seen at the moment, and that's happening in the middle of that. So that's pretty damn impressive. So well done, Kerry. That's fantastic. Good stuff. What do you think, guys? Is that pretty good? Those figures, pretty amazing, aren't they? Just let us know in the chat box what you think about that. And
Pauline,
well done, Kerry.
Just to let you know, my first event, because she's asked for the breakdown of the ad spend on the first event. The first event was around about, I spent under $1,000 for the first event. So, yeah.
Now, if you look at our first example of a colleague that we did before, he spent $30,000 for 3 events to make, was it $1 million?
Yep.
Kerry's come back and she spent total ad spend of $4,500. Okay, so I will go as far as to say we have a superior system of getting people into the workshops. So just saying, just pointing that out. So, but it's pretty cool. So you don't need to have huge amounts, and also maybe later on we'll show you how it can actually even pay for itself on the way through.
Ooh, I think
so
we might be just about to show
we'll show you that too.
Awesome. We've got scary good from Sandra.
Scary good.
Well
who's
done.
a bit uncomfortable with those numbers? Who thinks that might be a little bit beyond you? Let us know if you're feeling uncomfortable with that. Cool. It's okay if you feel uncomfortable. I'm going to show you how you can do this. A lot of you might be thinking, oh, I'd never have anything I could sell for $9,000 or anything like that. You'd be surprised. Okay, we're going to show you how to do that as well today.
So Mark's
Laurie,
saying,
sorry, you go, Darryl.
You go, Kerry.
I was going to say, Laurie's saying I could get comfortable pretty quickly. You actually do.
Nice, excellent. So Mark's asking, how much cash do you need to kick off an event? Well, we are going to show you how you can actually do one of these events without it costing you anything. So let's have a look at a couple more examples and you'll see how that works. So this was actually the very first event that we ran. This was the one that Kerry looked at and went, oh, I can do that, and promptly proved that she absolutely can, and $700,000 later, absolutely can. So we had 150 registrations in our very first event. So remember, we had a 3-day live event booked at the end of March. 2 weeks before that, we had to cancel it because we just simply couldn't run live face-to-face events at that stage. We couldn't even fly back to Australia. We had a marketing lead time of 2 weeks before we ran it. We filled it from a webinar and 2 emails to our list. So we didn't even do any Facebook marketing for this. We had, the people who had registered for our face-to-face event, and we sent some emails out to our list thinking we have no idea whether or not this is going to work, but we're going to give it a go. The marketing cost for this was $0, so no paid ads. We do have a decent sized list, and guys, you've heard us say before, the money is in the list. If you are not building a list, then your business is really vulnerable. It's absolutely something that you must do so that when catastrophes happen, you're not left high and dry. We had 102 attendees, so 68% turn up rate. So again, much higher than the 30-35% that we would normally get with a live event. Same price point as what Kerry was offering, so the $9,997 or $997 a month. 23% of attendees applied for the program, so we had over $250,000 in applications, and we finalised $106,000 in sales, so $708 income per registrant. So remember, I said that's the number that we look at. $708 income per registrant is actually right up there compared to, so a live event, normally we're doing $1,000 income per registrant. And so we were really happy. That really surprised us. You know, we were really not sure how well it would work, but that was what inspired us and obviously Kerry to go on and do more of these. Okay, one more example and then we'll get into the detail of how you can do the same. So let me know in the chat box if, having seen this, if now you think, hey, maybe I could actually do this. Let me know if it's starting to get a bit more real for you, that you can actually see yourself doing something like this. Oh, yes, we're getting lots of exclamation marks as well. Well done, excellent. Okay, so let's have a look at one more example, and this was the third one that we rolled out. We've got another one of these coming up. So Steve Eagle had been teaching people how to import from Asia or all over the world. Right now, not a popular topic. And so one of the things about Steve's system is that it works absolutely everywhere. It's about being able to source products in a really clever way. And in fact, the process was developed and designed in Australia by Steve. So he is now teaching people how to source Australian-made products at Asia competitive prices. And that was the message that really resonated with people. He had 450 registrations, 267 from Facebook, marketing lead time again of just 2 weeks, filled from a webinar, 2 emails, Facebook ads, and Facebook organic. So Steve was going into various groups and you know, just talking to them about how you could actually source Australian made and you know, not have the prices be exorbitant. Total marketing cost under $1,000, so $3.58 per lead. The VIP tickets actually more than paid for the marketing. So 106 VIPs, over $2,000 in income. So Mark, when you asked the question before, how much money do you need up front in order to run one of these? The answer for Steve's was it was profitable right from the outset. So the VIP tickets were coming in at the same time as we were spending money on Facebook advertising. And so we actually didn't need to outlay any money at all for that. 259 attendees, so again about double what we'd normally get at a live event. 205 people at the close, same sort of price point in the offer, and 23% application rate again. So 47% of people who saw the offer put in an application for a discussion afterwards, and he finalised $230,000 in sales, which was $511 income per registrant. So turning $3.58 into $511. Who thinks that's okay?
That's a good return on your investment.
That is a very good return on ad
Show me the stock
guys.
that does that.
Show me anything that does that, online or offline.
Okay. Let me just make a point here. Somebody asking, oh, why applications? What's the difference between applications and finalising the event? One of the things that we do is when we're teaching people is we only want to work with the right people in our programs. Because of course, our programs are fairly hands-on or intensive with people or involve a lot of work. We've got to make sure the right people are applying, so we don't take on everybody who applies. So that's the difference there. We generally knock back a bunch of people who apply just because we're just not right for the program at the time, and so on. So that's what the difference is there, if you're wondering. So this is you, Darryl.
Cool. So normally, the other thing that Andrew pointed out before, and Kerry's certainly a great example of this, is that you can run these events far more frequently. So normally we would run one live event every 8 to 10 weeks, and it is a little bit of a production, you know, with travel and accommodation and venues and staffing and AV and all the rest of it. But with these events, in the last 3 months, we and our JV partners have run 9 one-day online events. Okay, so it's just so much quicker and easier to do. And each of them has generated 6 figures. So really super excited about just how easy it is to actually run these things. But here's the thing that's important to note. You actually might not get it right first time. Andrew opened up by saying, if you were at this event a few weeks ago, we have actually made some changes to it. But that's the cool thing about this. It's actually easy and quick to test and measure and refine. And, you know, even if you don't absolutely knock it out of the park the first time, if you made a handful of sales, you know, there's $40,000, $50,000 from a mistake or from something that hasn't gone as well as it potentially could. So it's just such a low risk strategy, and that was why we're actually super excited once it started to we started to see what we actually had here, to put it together as a training program and roll it out to teach you guys, because as you know, that's our business model and the way we work. Training wheels first, there you go. All right, so Stephen is asking, and we will talk about the sales process a little later this afternoon, Stephen, in detail. For the people you reject, do you offer a downgrade product? On the online events, we don't. When we do live face-to-face events, we will sometimes offer a downsell for people that we don't take on. But generally there's a reason that we don't take them on. Sometimes it's because we just don't think that we can help them. So if I don't think I can help you with something with my $10,000 program, I'm sure as heck not going to be able to help you with a $2,000 program. So I wouldn't waste your money, quite frankly. So that's the way I see it. Hopefully that makes sense.
Okay.
Alrighty, so what we're going to do now is give you our step-by-step system. And guys, you might want to write this down or take a screenshot, because this forms the agenda for the rest of the day. So what I'm going to show you is the 8 steps in our system to actually get the results that we have just shown you. Then what we're going to do is, for the rest of the day, we're going to roll through each of these steps in more detail. So let's have a look at it. Step number 1 is to choose a hot selling topic and design your message, okay? You need to have your topic right. If you start off with that wrong, that's the foundation of what you're doing. Yeah, the rest is just not going to work. So we'll show you our process to do that. Then we're going to show you how to create your event registration page. So step 1, we're going to show you in the rest of this session. And then after morning tea, we're going to show you how to create your event registration page. Kerry's going to show you how to market your event in really, really clever and low cost ways. And that's going to be the session up to lunch. Then after lunch, we're going to show you how to design your offer and pricing. So how do you actually make it an overwhelming offer, overwhelming value without it consuming you? So how do you make it leveraged and easy to deliver? We'll show you how to design your actual event so that it's high quality structured training, how to prepare the presentation. And then Kerry's got some really clever ways to increase turn up rate. So we'll show you that as well. And then in the last session this afternoon, we're going to show you how to run your event, managing the technology and how our actual sales process works. So get a screenshot of that, guys, or write it down, because that is our formula. That's what we're going to be walking you through. So in this session, we're going to be going through that first step: choose a hot selling topic and design your message. Get that right, and everything else is very much easy.
Okay, so there are 8 steps. That's what we're going to be doing this for the rest of the day. We're going to be backfilling all the information underneath those. Before we get going, any questions, or before we hit that first step, any questions? Put them in there. If you have no questions, say no questions, so we know to keep moving on. Let us know there, guys. Everybody, please participate. Let us know. Any questions? No questions? That's good. NQ is good, I understand.
All good, great agenda. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Super excited.
Yay.
Good. Okay, let's hit it. Okay, step number 1. What we're going to be talking about now is choosing a hot selling topic and then designing your message. Okay, that's the first thing you need to do, is making sure that you're fishing in the right pond. This is worth putting extra time into, getting it right in the first place. Don't just take it for granted. Really sort of making sure that you're actually in the right, not only in the right pond, but you've got the right bait and you've got a really sharp to the point message. Because if you get this right, everything else after it is fairly easy. Get this wrong, everything else after it is hard work. Okay, so choosing the right topic, we have a bit of there's a couple of key things that you need to keep in mind when you're doing this and understand. So let's go through those key points about choosing a hot selling topic. Okay, first thing you want to do is make it something that people are passionate about and keen to learn. Okay, something that they're passionate about and keen to learn. People are motivated when they're self-interested in something. If it's something that they kind of need, not really interested. People buy what they want. Okay, so people don't buy what they need, they buy what they want, and then they will sort of justify it later on why they needed it. So think about, what do people really want? What are they really passionate about, and so on. Now, the thing that they might really want is the solution to a problem, or they might want the pain that exists to stop, or they might want to find out something more about that they're fanatical about, or that they're really passionate about. So ask yourself a question, what do people really spend a lot of time about? What do they obsess about sometimes? What do people, what really causes people a lot of pain in their life, either emotionally or physically or financially and so on? How can you help them solve that problem? Okay, and so by looking at all these different pain points that people want, or what they're really, really passionate about, then you ask yourself the question, well, how do I actually, how could I fix that? Or who do I know who could fix that, or so on? So you look at ways to fix somebody's problem, give them what they want. They want the solution to a problem that they've got, and that might be to stop the pain or to give them something that they desire, which is the thing that they're more passionate about. It's really important that you get into that. Now, one of the examples that we used is how to source Australian-made products at Asia competitive prices. Okay, so that was the one from Steve Eagle. Now, Steve has a skill set that he has where he's able to help you source products. Prior to that, he was showing people how to import products from China. Now, at the moment, China's on the nose, okay, in terms of importing people. Apparently, people don't want to bring in stuff from China anymore, and so teaching people how to do that, not only do people not really want to do it, they're actually aggressive about it when you tell them about it. But, if you go advertise it these days, you might get some nasty replies about people advertising in China. Showing people how to import stuff from China. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, I'm just saying it is. And so we're not about teaching people what they need to know, we're about giving them what they want in this sense. And so what they want to know is, well, okay, I still got to get stuff. How do I get it? Where do I get it from? What they want to do is get it from Australia. They want to source their business supplies, they want to source their products from Australia. Okay, so Steve said, well, I can teach people how to do that. And the reality is it's still pretty competitive to get it done in Australia. I just need to know how to do what I do. And so that became the idea and the concept. Okay, so firstly, people have they need the product, or they want the byproduct, and then they were able to get it from Australia. So he's able to, and also the other thing, that the reason they haven't gotten from Australia in the first place, they didn't think it was cheap enough. And he's able to answer that question. Well, how do I get it at competitive prices? Well, he has a solution for that as well. So all these things go to make up a product that somebody's really keen about and passionate about. Okay. Okay, big question there. Daryl, are you on top of that?
No, I'm busy sending out workbook links to
okay,
people
no
who
problems.
registered. Right, keep on.
Okay, you'll have a look at that one?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that you want to do when choosing a topic is keep it simple. Okay, keep it simple. It's really, this is harder to do than it sounds. Okay, keeping it simple is sometimes harder to do than it sounds. But keeping it simple, what you want to do in the topic that you're choosing is work out how to provide a tangible outcome and give quick wins, which solves the immediate problem or specific problem that they're having. So keeping it simple. So Steve's product, once again, is how to source Australian-made products at Asia competitive prices. That's pretty straight in your face, isn't it? It's telling you what it is. It's very simple what it is, but what it does is it also allows people to solve their immediate problem that they're having at the moment, which is which the people who are interested in this were having. They're wanting to know, how do I do this, and how do I find these Australian-made products quickly and easily? They're keeping it simple. The more convoluted or the more complex your offer is, or your topic is, the less likely people are to understand it, and it can really cause your whole thing to fail. Here's a rough rule of thumb that I've noticed over the years when teaching people this stuff, and even doing it myself, is that generally speaking, the expert, which is in this case is you, will generally overestimate the amount that people understand about your topic. Okay, they'll overestimate it greatly. So keep it simple, keep it very, don't assume they know anything about your topic, and keep it very, very basic in terms of how you're explaining it and so on. I know it might sound like it's being talking down to people, but it isn't. They will appreciate it because they understand it when it's the first time they've heard it. Lots of times people take assume too much information, and that can cause people problems as well. Okay, now as just a note, you don't have to be an expert here, and this is a really key point that I want you to understand. You don't have to be the expert in the topic that's what you're talking about, but you do need a strong message. Okay, you don't need to be the expert in the topic. You do need to have a strong message. So you don't need to be the expert on how to source products to be able to teach it. But you do need, the strong message is that you can source products at Asia competitive prices, or whatever your topic might be. We're just using this as an example. We're going to show you in a minute how you can, why you don't need to be the expert as well. Now, that should be a bit of a relief to a bunch of you that you don't need to be the expert, because there's a bunch of people out there when I've shown this before and they go, oh, well, this is great, really like it, but I don't know anything. I'm not an expert and so on. Well, let me show you how you can sort that out and you realize you don't have to be the expert. It's quite easy. In fact, sometimes it's better not to be the expert, because it means it gives you more flexibility on how you approach things. Okay, so we said you have to have a compelling message, or you have to have have a strong message. There's 3 types of messages that you can put forward, and three ways you can go about that. The first one is to have a personal success story. Okay, personal success story. Just get my notes going here. Okay, have a personal success story. What this basically means is that you have done this thing that you're talking about. You personally have done this, and now you're teaching others to do the same. Generally speaking, it means that you've experienced the problem, or you've gone through the hardship, and then you've found the solution, and you've come out the other side, and now you've conquered that, and you're able to show people how to do that. There's some sort of I was lost and now I'm found story, and now I'm teaching others. That kind of thing that's happening as well. So to understand that a little bit more, let me give you some examples. This is a client of ours, Helen Tarrant. Now Helen was a lawyer. She wanted to get into property. She looked at the normal property game, and she found that buying residential properties and so on was a real problem for her, because they had a limit, because everything that were coming in was generally negatively geared. The properties were hard to get enough rent coming in that they'd pay for their mortgages. Who understands that when you're buying a residential property, sometimes it's hard to get a property that actually pays for the mortgage. It's not that easy sometimes. Anybody been in that situation at all? Let us know in the chat box if that's been you. And so what Helen decided, well, I still like property, but I want to find properties that I can actually get around. So what she did was she started to investigate commercial properties, and she developed a system where she was able to build it up within a short period of time to get herself $10,000 passive income a week by buying commercial properties. And by doing that, she had all this passive income coming in. Of course, commercial property works differently basically than residential property, and she was able to get a whole bunch of passive income coming in from this stuff, and then she started teaching others. But she went through it herself. She personally learned it. She personally held properties, and she was able to teach that, and she's gone on to make a fair bit of money on doing that. Okay, this is Noel and Randy. Noel and Randy were Amazon sellers. They went on Amazon, started from scratch, didn't know anything about it, found a great niche, designed some products, got it all on Amazon, started selling the stuff, and they were able to turn that from scratch into a multi-million-dollar business on Amazon. And so once again, started from scratch, personally did it, and were able to get out there, and then they started to share that with other people as well. This is young Will Deef. Will, when he first started, was 14 in this area. I think he's now 18. I think he's gone 18 now. And now Will, basically what he was about was he was about importing and so on. So he would go to China and he would import stuff as well, and be able to do his thing. But his whole business was around how to identify stuff, identify little products and so on, bring it back into Australia, and then sell it here as well. Now he was able to make $1 million or something, Will, I think, in his first 12 months or
something like that.
Something like that.
I believe he's just bought his first house.
He's bought a house, yeah. Now.
Not bad at 18.
Yeah, and he put a book out called How I Earn More Than My Principal, How I Earn More Than My School Principal. So that was pretty cool too. Little aside here, Will's guidance counselor at school told him when he said, "I want to buy a house." His guidance counselor said, "Oh, that's a big step, son. You don't know if you really want to be doing that at this point. You know, go live your life, have a bit of fun." That was basically the guidance counselor's experience for him. Luckily, Will doesn't listen to his guidance counselor. Okay, so that personal success message.
So a few people have been asking, can you give us some examples of messages? So here's some examples for personal success. We're also going to give you the formula to write your own once we've shown you all 3 types of message. So if this is not you, if you don't have a personal success story, that's okay. We have another 2 types of things that you can do, types of messages you can write. So super excited to see how keen you are, but in the next 10 minutes, it will all become clear.
One of these 3 methods or messages that we're talking about will fit everybody here. Okay, so everybody can do one of the 3. If not, you can have more than one as well. So don't feel like there's nothing for you here. Okay, so personal success message examples. Question that you're going to ask yourself is, do I have a personal skill or a special skill, or have you achieved something that others would like to learn? Okay, now think about what it is. What's your biggest achievement in life? What's something that you've done that other people really don't do on a regular basis, or wouldn't know how to do? Is there something that you specialize in? Is there a interesting thing or a quirky thing that you do that nobody else sort of knows it, nobody else really does very well, and maybe is there a small group of people or a group of people who would like to learn that as well? So some of the examples might be, you know, have you had success online or offline in terms of marketing or some sort of business success? Generally, the ways to make money is very popular. So if you've got a particular way that you've been able to make money, either online, offline, in some way, shape or form that you've done, but others don't know about or would like to know about, have you done that before? Have you been a successful investor in some sort of investment results, e.g. property or maybe cryptocurrency or shares or some way that you do something that's sort of successful for you? Just excuse me. Sorry about that.
Let me continue on. Have you made money from something that you're really passionate about, like a craft, for example, or you know, a hobby that you have?
So we've got clients of ours who are paper crafters. They make fantastic, beautiful paper craft, and people are interested in to know how to do that as well. So
we have clients who are artists.
Artists, yeah, people teaching you how to paint as well. So very successful in that area as well.
But it doesn't need to be just about making money. So don't think that you can only do this if you've got a how to make money type of niche.
Have you achieved a goal or something like that that's out there that you've done that other people might want to do? It's been one of these things that they've had a bucket list to do, or they've been keen to do it. So it might be something like run a marathon or weight loss or something like that.
Kerry's doing this, and there's a reason she's doing that. Why is that, Kerry?
Oh, because you don't just run one, you run 10 in a row, 10 marathons.
Okay, so I have to now explain. So for those of you who don't know, Kerry runs marathons. Of course, one isn't enough. Have you seen somebody about this, Kerry? I think there's a trip on it.
Come on,
there's a session on the couch that you need about this. She doesn't just run one. So last year she ran to raise money for a good cause. Actually, she ran 7 marathons in 7 days. That's 7 marathons in 7 days.
In 7 states.
In 7 states. But this year,
cities. Sorry, I don't think there's that many states in Australia. I'm showing my foreign ignorance here.
Yes, it is. So this year she 7 wasn't enough, so she had to do 10 marathons in 10 days. Okay, 10 marathons in 10 days. and apparently there's a good cause involved. So it was
That's saying I'm exhausted just listening to running that many marathons.
yeah, exhausted listening to it. Yeah, so yeah, so well done. That's very good. But hey, here's the point: if you were wanting to learn about how to run a marathon, and particularly if you're a woman and want to run a marathon, and do ultra marathons, long distances over long times and stuff like that, would Kerry be somebody who you might want to hear from? Yes or no? Would that be something? If she can run 10 marathons in 10 days, would Kerry be somebody who you might want to hear from about how do I run a marathon? Yes or no? So yes, of course. Obviously, we're getting yes.
I've got one more thing to add to the 10 marathons in 10 days story. That all happened while Kerry was also doing her 5 events and bringing in, $1 million in applications. So, guys, how nuts is that?
Okay. So
you hit the nail on the head there, Andrew, as well. With that, that's obviously a product that I do sell. I teach women how to or guide them on how to run marathons, but I'm not the expert. I'm not a coach. I haven't done any run training. I just know how to run marathons and know, better probably than the average bear. So not the expert, but have done them, have got the experience. So sell products in that.
Yeah, so you got that personal story, you got the runs on the board, so to speak. Boom, boom. Okay, and then but that allows Kerry to talk about that, and people want to know from her if they're going to do it. How did you do it, Kerry, and all that kind of stuff. So, and how do you do it as a woman? Because she has if you talk to Kerry about this, she'll say there's a different way to do it as a woman than there is a man in terms of the training and the way you train and get prepared and so on. And so she has a product around that as well. So, and people buy that, and that's Kerry's little side gig that she does, which is does quite well. But that's good. So the other thing you could do, maybe weight loss as well. Weight loss would be a great one. So if you've lost a significant amount of weight, or you have gone from being out of shape to being fantastically in shape, or you as an older person you've lost weight, or as a your particular group of person lost weight. If you're disabled and you've been able to lose weight and get fit or something like that, all those things are niche groups within the group. Okay, so look for the niche within the group as well, and what you've achieved. So here's the way: if you're still struggling and can't think about what you might have, if you've got a message or not, just ask yourself: what obstacles have you overcome in your life? What's the biggest hurdle that you've overcome, or the biggest challenge that you've had that you've been able to overcome? What's the biggest problem that you maybe gotten over or had to do? Some of you might, it might be a health issue. You might have had some sort of stress in your life. You might have, it might be relationship issues, or raising kid issues, or whatever it might be. But all these things you might have done, but you've been able to face the challenge and overcome the challenge, and then come out the other side of it better. And guess what? There's somebody now somewhere in the world who's now at the start of that challenge somewhere, and they're about to go through what you went through. And would have you liked to have the advice of somebody right at the start of your challenge who've already gone through it and who can help you through it? Well, yes. If that's yes, then there's somebody else who'd like to hear from you as well. So you might be might be able to help people in that type of area as well. So it doesn't have to be a money thing or a big super challenge thing. It can be overcoming personal difficulties as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. And if you think about it, most people have some sort of personal success story.
Okay, so just before we move on to the second one, the expert, actually, no, I'll ask you at the end. We'll show you all 3, and then we'll get you to let us know which of these 3 you are. So if you don't have a personal success story, then perhaps you fit this second category here, which is that you are an expert. So an expert is someone who doesn't necessarily have the problem or the goal themselves, but they've helped a lot of their own clients one-on-one. Okay, and so normally the message is, I'm an expert in this area. Normally to work with me is going to, one-on-one is going to cost you a lot. Come along to my event and I'm going to share some of my information with you for free. Stuff that you'd normally be paying me a lot for as a consultant or as an expert in my niche. So
can I give an example of that?
I'm about to.
Oh, I'd like to give one.
Okay.
It's a bit like a brain surgeon. Okay, brain surgeon doesn't have to have had brain cancer to be considered an expert. Knows how to do the surgery and so on. Doesn't have to have experienced the problem. Okay, that's kind of the difference. You haven't had to experience a problem, but you know a lot about this particular subject and so on as you're going through.
Thank you, Andrew. Excellent analogy. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of examples. This is Simon Bowen, these days fairly well-known consultant, and Simon has something called the models method. If you go and have a look at any of Simon's videos on YouTube, he has this amazing system for teaching people by drawing little pictures and models and structures. So very visual way of teaching quite complex systems. He works a lot with things like big mining companies. Now, does Simon own a big mining company? No, he doesn't. He's an expert though in helping them to improve what it is that they do. Here's another example. This is Warren Black. So Warren is an accountant, also a qualified lawyer, used to work for the Australian Tax Office as an auditor. And as Warren says in his own words, came over from the dark side and now helps people to legally reduce their tax and protect their assets. And so Warren is very much an expert helping business owners around Australia to pay the legally correct amount of tax and to protect their assets in the process. So let's have a look at some expert message examples. So have a think about if you fit into this category. So are you an expert that helps others? So you might be something like a business consultant or a marketing consultant or a book publisher, okay? Someone who helps other people to get their message out there. Perhaps you're in some other sort of professional service, a lawyer, accountant, financial advisor, you know, dentist, anything which is a professional service where typically you're swapping hours for dollars, but normally fairly high hours for dollars. Maybe you're a life coach or a personal development coach of some sort. Maybe you help people to overcome, you know, stress or to achieve goals, you know, to live a magical life. If you have a system where you can help people to do that, to overcome a problem or to achieve a goal that they want, to improve their life, then you fit into the expert category. Perhaps you're in health or allied health or natural therapies or a personal trainer. You know, are you generally providing a service where normally most of your income comes in from seeing people in consultations? You know, how much are you getting per consultation? The problem with being in any of these sorts of things is typically you're swapping hours for dollars. So, you know, back when we were business consultants, same problem, high hourly rate, but still an hourly rate, and it caps out. But the good news is you can package up that expertise that normally you'd be doing one-on-one and actually put it into a one-day event like this. Maybe a real estate agent. So again, you know, the product that you are selling is, you know, I can list and sell your home and I'm going to earn a commission from doing that. So again, it's a high ticket sale, but normally you'd be doing it one-on-one. Why not do it through a one-day online event like this to demonstrate how good you are at actually selling homes? Or are you a provider of some other sort of mid-price service? So it doesn't even have to be, you know, an information product or a service. It could be something like, you know, you do kitchen makeovers or bathroom makeovers. You know, perhaps you have you're a tradesperson. And so, you know, you're selling services which are typically thousands of dollars. Well, you don't have to sell those one-on-one. You don't have to wait for the phone to ring. You can actually do that as well in a one-day online event.
So far we've talked about you having experience, saying you've done something which is really cool and you want to share that with other people, or we've talked about you being the expert. So there's two different ways that you can do that. So let me know if you think you might pop into one of those areas at the moment in the chat box. If you're sitting there and you think that might be what you heard there, might be one of those that you might be, let us know. Everybody chip in, please. If you don't feel like it's you, say, look, I don't think either one of those is me. That's cool. Second one works best for me. Expert, number one, not yet. That's okay. That's good. Success story. Cool. Okay. So a lot of people are seeing a spot that they might be in and how they might work. Some are saying 1 and 2. That's cool too. You can be more than one as well. Excellent. So let's talk about the third method. Now, if you don't fit into those first two, there's nothing stopping you doing this last one. And this is quite easy to be successful in as well. And a little secret here, this method is very, very good for getting you to be known as the expert when you're not even the expert. So I'll show you how this works.
Because there's a few people saying, oh, you know, not sure that I'm the expert yet. So listen up, this one is for you.
Okay, so this is message number 3, and this is when you can be the reporter of the information. Okay, so there are lots of people out there being successful in lots of different areas. So if you pick your hot topic, you get your subject that people are interested in, but you don't know anything about it, you've had no personal experience about it, you can still use that topic as something that you want to go ahead with, because basically as a reporter of the information, what you do is you go find other people who have fit into the first 2 categories, and you interview them about the subjects, and you collate the information, and then you present that to your crowd. Okay, we'll explain how this works in a minute. So basically, you've got to ask yourself, you're looking for I'm passionate about a particular topic, and I'll be interviewing experts, and I'll be sharing what I have learnt. Okay, passionate about a topic, I'm interviewing experts in that area or people who've experienced the first 2 scenarios, and I'm be sharing what they learn. For example, so if I say, hey, I'm going to teach people, I want to have a site or have a program where I'm talking about women running marathons. Well, I might go talk to Kerry and interview Kerry about that. And but Kerry's not the only woman in the world who does marathons. There's a whole bunch of them out there who I could go and talk to them, and then I could collate what they all do. And I'm sure they'll all have they'll have similarities in what they're talking about. What I can do is pull out the similar stories and look at the things they all have in common. And I could talk about what top marathon people that all have in common when they do their runs and so on. So I'd be able to pull together some unique sort of content around that. That would make me the reporter of the information. Do I have to run a marathon? No. Do I have to even be a woman? No. Okay. I can just grab their stuff and talk to them and collate the information. Now, this is what most authors do when they're talking about other go look things. Reporters do this. Oprah Winfrey made $1 billion out of doing this, okay, and so on. But let me talk to you about somebody called Ben and Sherry Jones. Ben and Sherry Jones were a couple, and they wanted to develop the business around teaching young kids how to be entrepreneurs. Now, they had their own kids, and they're kind of really interested in the subject, but their child had done a few little things, but nothing that you'd see as sort of exceptional. And what
their oldest was only 8 at the time.
Well, he was 8, and he started a little veggie garden in the background and with herbs and so on, and he was selling herbs around in his local area. And so that was pretty cool, and that kind of got him excited about that. But they needed a bigger program than that. That wasn't enough to run a program. So what they went and did is they went and interviewed kids from all around the world who had been successful young entrepreneurs. They got on the internet, they started looking them up and started to book in appointments and interviewing them. And that became the basis of their program. And they went on to sell programs which were around $25,000 for their programs, and selling those programs. And they've sold those in Australia and in the UK and so on. But that started from being the reporters of the information, pulling that information together and putting it together in that format. Okay. As a reporter of the message,
sorry, there was one more example just before we do that. I didn't put a slide in, I'm sorry. But
okay,
Kerry mentioned yesterday, Matt and Liz.
Oh, okay. So Matt and Liz Rard, what they basically did is when they first started doing their business, they were experts in their particular area, but it wasn't quite exactly what they want, what the crowd wanted. So what they used to be is business brokers. So they'd help people sell bricks and mortar businesses, sell those businesses. And when they first started, they wanted to teach people how to sell bricks and mortars business as the expert. Now that went okay, but it wasn't quite right. The market wasn't as hot and so on. So we talked to them about why don't you talk about teaching people how to do sell online businesses, so businesses online, so websites and stuff like that. After a little while, they came around to it. So what they started to do is they started to become the reporters of the information, because they hadn't really done much of it themselves. And so what they did is they started to go around and interview people who had done it, been successful and so on, and collate that information and bring that message to their crowd. Turns out the crowd was super hot for it, and they went on to make a lot of money out of it, and it's a great business idea. So they were able to pull that information from other people and be able to share that with other people. So they didn't have to be the expert, and they didn't have to have a personal experience in it. What they were was good reporters that are collating information and sharing other people's success with them. And I would argue it's probably even gave them a stronger product than just being the expert, because it's coming from more than one expert and pulling it together. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Now, this can be applied to particularly any topic, practically any topic, I should say. Here's the criteria that you really want to look at. Firstly, it really helps if you're passionate about the topic, okay? It's not 100% necessary, but because this will be something that you're talking to people about a lot, and you're putting a lot of thought into it and so on, if it's a topic you can't stand or you're not interested in at all, probably best you go look for one that you actually are interested in. That way it's more fun for you, it keeps your attention, you're genuinely excited about learning more about it and so on. So find a topic that you're passionate about, and there's a stack of topics out there that you can get involved in, but find one that you're passionate about and something that sort of keeps your interest and so on. Just for the sake of, it will give your business more longevity because you'll enjoy actually doing it, okay? And something that you want to learn more about. Okay, the other thing, criteria that would suggest you look at is you are willing to access and interview people with either your, who have a personal message or they're an expert message. Okay, so you need to be willing to actually talk to people about this and interview people. Now, I know I'm not saying you can't be nervous or you can't feel a little bit anxious about it, but at some point you actually need to be able to approach people, and it is quite easy. We've literally interviewed hundreds of people in our career in doing this. This is one of the methods that we use when we first started, because we're not experts in everything internet. We'd go find experts to help with our share those with our clients, and so we had to approach people and get them to talk about it. And quite honestly, people are excited to work with you if you're excited to work with them, and you show some confidence in that you know what you're doing. We virtually, I can't, maybe once or twice out of asking hundreds of people have we ever been knocked back. Some people might have scheduling conflicts and things like that, but no, I will not talk to you, and so on. It's like twice, I think, in the whole time. So people are really happy to share their expertise. Tell me, answer me this: why would somebody want to share their expertise with you, by the way, and have you interview them and position them as the expert? Why would they want to do that? Why would they possibly share that information with you? Let me know. Put it in the chat box, actually. Let me know. This is a question for everybody. Have a think about this. Why would somebody want to share their expertise with you? And for nothing, by the way. They don't pay you any money, or you don't pay them any money, I should say. Why would they want to do that? Come on, everybody, participate here. Why would somebody who's an expert or had an experience want to actually share their story with you? Why would they go about doing that? I want everybody to put something down here. Think about this. Okay. So they want a JV opportunity. They're just passionate about it. It's great publicity for them. It's legacy. Promotes them. Exposure to your email list. Free publicity increases their contact list. Positions them as an expert. They're just being nice people. Builds their own profile. Exposure, lead generation. Publicity, because they're interested in getting their message out to the world. All of these things might be right, okay, for that person. And the reality is, we don't really know. What we can guess, though, is those things I think are right. Something like that. But here's the thing: they would be silly not to, because if they're experts in their own business or they're running this area, they generally have a business that they're wanting to promote, and you're giving them free publicity. You're positioning them as the expert. You're showing people that why these people are great in what they're doing. So it's to their advantage to do that, okay? And most people see that straight away, and they're happy to do that. And the more professional people see that, understand that's the game. That's why they want to get free publicity. They go out of their way to try and get publicity in the media. So if you're interviewing them for your program, you got people who are interested in their stuff, they will be more than happy, generally speaking, to help you out as well if you approach it correctly. And we'll show you how to do that later. Okay, you can the other criteria you want to do is look at is that you can take what you've learned and condense it into a unique system that you can teach to others. Okay, so once again, if you talk to Ben and Sherry Jones, they went and talked to about 20 kids who were young entrepreneurs who did their thing. And after talking to 20 people, you start to see patterns emerge, and they start to see patterns emerge, and they can pull out the key things that young entrepreneurs need to do to be successful, and the mistakes that they made as well. And they talked about different things, so they can say, do this, don't do that. And they put that into a program, which is their unique program. Even the experts didn't have what they had now because they hadn't talked to all the other people and put it together. Okay, being the reporter of the message, here are some examples of groups that you could interview. Okay. So if you've got something about being a mum, say you're your area is about you just had a new baby and you want to learn how to raise your mum in the but you still want to earn some money, you can talk to the Mumpreneurs group or something like that. So mumpreneurs, people are out there who are mums and actually making money. I believe that's their deal. Is that right?
Exactly right. Talk to other women who have small kids and have managed to set up a successful business. Would be inspiring for you if you're a new mum, and you know, would be great for other new mums who are wanting to do the same and feeling a bit overwhelmed.
So you know, we could talk to, even though Daryl's kids are not little anymore, they're young adults. You were entrepreneuring when they were little, so you could talk to Daryl about that.
And Kerry too.
I was going to say, Kerry's running marathons, doing all this stuff, and apparently she has kids. So I don't know where she is.
It's time to do that too.
Yeah. So,
but, Kerry, I'm assuming you would be more than happy to be interviewed as a mumpreneur.
100%. Yep. That's
Me too.
Yeah. And what would be the motivation for you to do this? Genuine question. If somebody asked you, look, we're putting a group together for mumpreneurs, what would be the motivation that why you would say yes to that?
My main reason would be actually to help others not make the mistakes that perhaps I made when I first started to shortcut the process. So any kind of learning that I could give other mums out there to help them to achieve, you know, success with being a mum and whatever else, that would be the number one reason why I do it, is just to educate and help.
And I assume you'd have a similar.
Absolutely. And you know, anything that builds your profile, you know, builds a relationship with people is always going to be good for your business. So you know, exactly what Kerry said, and it will come back and pay you back manyfold.
And that's one thing that's really you find most people are happy to help other people do that, and that's why they share. They're just happy to help other people not make the mistakes they made when they first started. And people are generous if you're generally asking. Okay, property investors might be the thing. If you you know, say you were wanting to find out about how to do commercial property, you could go talk to commercial property investors, people who specialize in doing certain types of property, you know, overseas property or whatever it might be. You could talk to property investors. Talk to authors and so on. If it's about how to get a best-selling book, or how to write a book from start, how to write fantasy books, or there's a whole lot of different niches in being an author and so on. And you can talk to different people about that, what they did, how they write the writing process that they go through, how they got the book published, you know, how they marketed it, all that kind of stuff. You could go and talk to online marketers as well. If you're that's a big area. Obviously, that's something that we do. But you know, there's you know, where would you start? What do you do? Find out who are successful and so on. There's a lot of people out there who are talking big about online marketing, but they're not there. You know, let's just say they're maybe not as good as that they're wanting. So you can maybe go and work out who's who in the zoo and get the better ones and pull them together and ask them what they've been doing. I'm yet to see an online marketer who doesn't want to be talk about their stuff. So that's a pretty low-hanging fruit in terms of finding people there. People who have overcome challenges and so on. So if you depending on what it is your area is, if you're talking to people about how to survive, how to manage after divorce or something like that. I'm sure there's a bunch of people who you could find there who could be good examples and talk to them and so on. So with that one particularly, you could find people who have actually gone through the process of being divorced and so on. That's one thing. But you could also talk to experts in that area. Okay, what do I need to do? Talk to lawyers. What should you look for if you're talking to your divorce lawyer, your accountants? All the talk to relationship coaches or psychologists or whatever. What about the kids and all that kind of stuff? So all those different areas are sub niches of people who you could go and interview in those areas as well. So once again, these are all about making the people successful and giving you great information. And another point is that people who have achieved specific goals, etc. So millionaire by 30, or able to lose a big amount of weight, or whatever the thing might be. Run 10 marathons. Okay.
There you go.
That sort of stuff. Okay.
Alrighty. So just before we go on to how you actually then write your message, we're just about done for this session. Just in the question box, just pop down which of those three, personal, expert or reporter, is your primary message. So yes, you can absolutely have more than one, but which is your primary one? Is it a personal story of, I had this problem and I've solved it for myself? Is it an expert story where, well, I haven't got the problem myself, but I've solved it for others? Or is it a reporter where I don't have a personal story, I'm not an expert, but I want to learn about it and I'm happy to go and talk to other people about it? So pick your main one, 2 or 3, and let's see. And absolutely, you can be more than one, but let's have a look at what your primary one is. Oh, we've got a real mix, a lot of experts by the look of it. There you go. So I've had a problem solved, but I'm also a certified coach. Okay, so you've bit like us, we learned how to do online marketing for ourselves. Now we teach other people how to do it.
Let us know if you are an expert, or if you've got a problem. Let us know the niche area that you're in as well. If you're thinking about interviewing people, say interviewing, but let us know the niche area of being the reporter as well. Okay, and yeah, somebody's going all 1, 2, and 3. That's pretty cool as well.
Nice. Alrighty. So while we are doing that, let me explain how we actually bring all this together. Because whatever your message is, you actually need to condense it down to one powerful statement. Okay. So this is going to be your homework over the break. We need you to complete this. I help ideal client to tangible result. Okay. I help ideal client to tangible result. So, for Kerry, I help business owners to get high quality leads using the Facebook suite of apps. Alrighty. For us, we help people who are swapping hours for dollars to make an automated income with membership sites. Alrighty. So think about who's your ideal client, be specific, it's not everyone in the world. And what is the tangible result that you can actually produce for them? Because that's what people buy. They're not interested in your process at this stage. What they want to know is what's the tangible result you can give me? So that is your homework over the break. And if you want to write them into the question box over the break, feel free to do that. And just let us know before we actually wrap up in this session. That's your exercise. Just let us know. Have you got any last questions before we wrap up? Kim, that's an excellent one.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What are you saying?
Excellent. So getting some really good niches coming through here. So make sure that you put up. I'll leave that. No, I can't leave the question up, can I? Because we're about to do a timer. Alrighty, so just before we do wrap up, last 2 minutes, what has been your biggest aha so far from this? This is a really good way just to gather your thoughts, guys. Have a look back through your notes and just, you know, in your head, summarize what it is that you've learned. Pick out what your biggest aha is, write it into the question box. So really good way to make sure that you've actually understood everything. It might highlight any gaps, any questions that you have, jot those down too. But let's hear your biggest aha from this session.
Give us your aha, your biggest aha, and I'd like a rating, 1 to 10. How did you find that session? 1 to 10. Be cruel but fair, or fair but tough. 1 to 10. How did you find that session for you? And what was your biggest aha? What did you learn the most?
Okay, so the ahas that we've got so far is you don't have to be an expert at what you're doing.
Excellent.
Well done, Alison. That is a huge aha, because a lot of people we talk to think that the only way that you can actually do an online event is to be the expert, but that's absolutely not true. And we've got lots of success stories that demonstrate that.
There's absolutely no reason why anybody who's listening to this right now can't do this method. If you don't have a personal story, if you're not an expert, you can go find those people, because there's millions of them out there who are just waiting to be interviewed by you, and then you can pull their stuff together. And quite honestly, some of the most famous people in the world have used this method to get ahead. Like I said before, Oprah Winfrey, that's her whole shtick. She just interviewed people and went around and so on. So it's very doable, and you can do it as well.
Alrighty, other ahas, how quickly you can run the event. Excellent. Hopefully we've given you some good examples there. Need to follow the system. Oh, you guys are always brilliant. Thank you. Okay, the importance of packaging up what you offer. Excellent. And we will be talking about exactly how to do that in the session straight after lunch. Laurie's saying that you can be wildly successful online without the hard sell. Excellent.
Yay.
You can give value, guys. Please do that if you're using our system.
Okay,
The 3 different message types. Sorry, I'm just going through the ahas. We're getting 10 out of 10 for lots of things. Being able to do repeat workshops in such a short time. Absolutely, Sarita, no reason you couldn't be doing that. You have an amazing message, I know. And Stephen's saying he's got motivation to get the next product launch sooner rather than later. Alyssa's saying, is it possible to be a bit of 1, 2, and 3? Yes, it is. Absolutely. So we started off with a personal story in, you know, how we went from nothing to $250,000 a year, despite knowing nothing about technology, and made money online from it. Then we started teaching people how to do it, and now we bring in other experts like Kerry. So good example of being 1, 2, and 3. Absolutely.
Okay, guys, now we're going to have a break now. Now, the way we're going to do this break is what I suggest you do is you just keep your computer running. We're going to put up a little clock countdown timer on the computer there, so you'll see what time it is when we're coming back. So just we'll mute everything, and you'll just see the clock there, and we'll go off and do our thing. Now, 30 minutes, ladies, is that enough for you guys?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we'll do 30-minute break, everybody. So look at your clock now, please. We'll be back in 30 minutes. Please
remember your homework.
Yeah, remember your homework, and please be back on time, ready to go. Okay.